Hello and welcome my fab fans to Glam's new video. So before I start a new diamond art, I have to finish the old, which means gluing it. This is diamond painting sealer. The thing is, I ran out, so I just instead mixed glue with water, and you know what? Elmer's glue with water works exactly the same. It smells the same too. So just use a little bit of Elmer's glue with water. Make sure it's like a decent consistency though, because you have to make sure it's still gluey. The water is just to make sure it fills into the spots. It's a lot easier. And the reason I'm using a paintbrush is to guide it more, and so that the tops of the diamonds are still shiny. The reason I seal the beads is because if I roll the diamond darts up without sealing them, all the diamonds fall off. Not all of them, but most of them. The gluing is to make sure they can't fall off. I just got an ad that said, if you're pregnant, drink milk. What if you're lactose intolerant? What if you said, if you're pregnant, drink milk because it has vitamin B12 and yada yada? And I'm just like, but what if they're lactose intolerant? I'm not, but what if they were? I actually don't drink milk. Something though is every single person in my family is like, when are you gonna get married and settle down with a husband? And I'm just like, never. And all of them are like, if she would have left the house by now, she would have had a husband. And I'm like, bold of you to assume I'd even want that. I don't like it when people assume things and or make decisions for me. Because it's not up to anyone except myself what my decision is on those things. But every single one of them are just like, well, I could have. If I wanted that, I would have already. Now, if I actually really wanted to have gotten married and had kids and be with a man, I would have been by now. But I don't want that, and I never have. I don't like men. Some are like, well, how do you know if you've never been with one? Sorry to break this to you, but I have. I tried a lot to date men when I was younger because I wanted to be normal. I didn't want to be the weird person who was different, okay? That's kind of how I was taught. that me being me is weird. I love what communities you grow up in. Sometimes we're not really supportive, so you kind of just have to go with the punches and hope that they don't judge you. But family judge. They judge a lot. I would go in order with the numbers, but I don't like to when it's these. I'm gonna go with what I see easier since it's so small. My scissors. I am gonna keep it in order though. I know the setup of diamond arts baffling. I actually do keep all of my wands from each set that I get, and I give them away to my friends that do diamond arts because they like to lose their pieces. Something I like about my smaller sets is they're really easy. My friend chose this one though, so I'm gonna start it. It is the Taurus Zodiac. Though I am gonna do the other one she chose also. So I guess you're getting diamond arts without choosing diamond arts. And that's because my friends get best friend privileges. I would have saved the number, but I know exactly which one this is because it's the only white ones. Though I'm gonna go with H next, and then L, and then A. Since those are the numbers that like jump out at me the most. I mean, other than W, which is the whole outer rim. But I kind of want to save that one for last. I will say she chose it because it's blue. If you did watch the video that she just appeared in, and or the video where she called me, and I was like, oh shit, phone call. Yeah. For some reason, the pause button wasn't showing up on my device, so I decided, yeah, okay. I don't know what that's about. So it's either stop it or I don't record. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna stop the video and end it and hang out with my friend for the next one. She texted me, realized I wasn't answering, knew I was doing something. That's usually how it goes with my friends. if I don't answer immediately, it is usually because I am doing something. I tend to answer quite immediately. But I didn't have my phone right next to me because my phone was dying and I didn't know where I put my charger. Which turns out my charger is on my desk and I did not remember putting it up there, so. That's how far that went. I really like the tinier diamond arts that I do, because as much as like the big ones are really fun, they are tedious because they take so long. And you don't really feel like you're achieving very much very quickly. But on the small ones, it's so much more fun for me because it doesn't take me so long to get to the result that I wanted. Okay, did all the whites. They're actually more of a gray. Just not push it over here. Well, I only have one yellow, 13. Those are L. And one red, I think. 10. H, yeah. I found H and L. When I say this one is very much color-coded and easy to pick out, I mean it. It really is. I actually don't know how long this one is going to take me. It's been a while since I did a smaller one. So I don't really know how long smaller ones take me anymore. Because back when I was first starting out with diamond art, I was a lot slower at them. And now that I'm been doing it for so much longer, who knows, maybe my speed has increased. I will state that my first diamond arts were way bigger than this. So when I first started diamond art, I was working on the same project for like days. Do you ever like get so upset that you start shaking violently? Because that used to happen to me a lot when I was like a little kid. It doesn't happen to me anymore. But I still have no idea why my body used to do that. But recently, I started having the same issue again, where I got to a point of like anger where I started shaking. It's like when you have so much emotion, you physically feel it outwards because your body starts shaking and it's hard to like breathe. And that's all you can think about is that anger. It happened because one delivery driver made it a real big problem for me, to where he wouldn't click confirm and was like, "Why are you assuming I won't do my job?" And I'm like, "I'm not. They are." And then he was like, "Well, tell them to do it." And I'm like, "They don't care about me or what I think, Lamau." But I did that in my head, and then my outward thought was, You tell them. Because they're not listening to me. Considering half the time the drivers don't click confirm, it's because they're stealing the food. We had this one person who refused to click confirm, then his girlfriend came on and just did it for him. Like, I know she doesn't like getting out of her car and all, but she could have just come through drive-thru. I wouldn't have been upset. But they made it, like, a problem, like, twice, and then they stopped showing up to the KFC to pick up orders. Which means I'm pretty sure that couple was stealing food out of orders. You know, if someone started calling you by a different name, how would you feel about that? How confrontational are you? Something sadness can do to you is make you hallucinate. It's why a lot of people who have depression tend to see faces and things that don't have faces. When I was a little kid, I remember someone threw water at my wall. I don't remember who. Could have been myself, I'm not gonna lie. I just don't remember. And it looked like Jesus. Like the stain that the water left looked like Jesus. I don't know why, don't know how, but neat, you know? Usually when you see a childlike spirit, it usually means it's a demon. Because I don't think children can be ghosts. At least they wouldn't be the same as if you, or at least I don't think they would be as playful. I think they would be more scared if they were really a child. Because nobody's really ready to prepare a child for what death really is. Usually they wait until they're older. Be like, you're this close to dying. I will state not always. Depends on the person. I believe my friend has a tumor in her brain. Like, there is no real evidence to dictate that, but considering how she describes her symptoms and how her, like, hormones seem to get worse, I have a feeling there's something in there that nobody's seen before. Something pinching a nerve. Something nobody noticed or point out in all of her brain scans. I feel like she has a tumor in her brain, but it's not noticeable or easily seeable. I believe that's what's causing her a mental discomfort. I have no evidence to prove this. It's just a feeling. And I have said this to her because I don't want to scare her, but I do want her to be like prepared in case I'm right. Because usually my feelings have been like oddly right. She has extremely bad migraines and she's bipolar. But sometimes she's extremely tame. And she's always been really nice. Even when she was younger to me. So I don't believe fully that it's just a personality flaw. I believe there's something else going on. But I also wouldn't be the best person to ask about it. I'm not a neuroscientist. I study psychology. But sometimes the way her brain acts is not as much bipolar as it is something more concerning. Especially when she loses functionality. Because I know mood swings are a big part of BPD, and it can be quite drastic changes. But her symptoms seem slightly more like caused by other things. It doesn't seem like a mania versus a depression. She's a realist. I will state that both of the people that I know with bipolar disorder, one acts more guaranteed bipolar, while the other has a slight difference. I know there's variations in every mental illness, in the extremeness, but I also kind of know what I'm looking for when it comes to slight changes in their day-to-day. When it comes down to people's small instincts, I can see small movements that most can't. The reason me and my sister are friends in the first place is because I don't get offended when she says something mean because I'm a realistic thinker. Part of how I became how I am is because of her. I'm a very realistic person, but I'm also an optimist, which some people say you can't be both. Try me. Because I can think of real situations and put a positive spin on it. And some people don't like that trait of mine, and then some people do. Which is quite normal, honestly. I've always been a very positive thinking person. I see every trait a person can have as like, it's just a trait, and the only thing that can make it a negative trait versus a positive one is depending on another person's interaction with that trait. Like a person who has a high sex drive, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if it impedes their functionality in a relationship. A high sex drive only really is a bad thing if the other person you're with does not have that, because they do not have energy. Which is why a trick to do is keep yourself busy and wear yourself out. Make yourself too tired. Make yourself equally as tired as the other person in the relationship, which can change day from day in both. I have a very low sex drive, always have, because I need an emotional connection in order to feel anything. I cannot have an emotional connection with a guy, which is why I know I'm not straight. But like, I don't know what it's called to be like both demisexual and a lesbian. I don't know if there's one singular term for it or if I have to just go with both. I can't feel a deep connection with men. I can feel friendship for men. I can be friends with any guy. But a relationship? No. I can't feel romantic feelings for a man, no matter what. But I can also feel friendship for women and or something more. When I first saw it, I was like, is that a bull or is it a cow? And it's definitely a bull because it has horns, and it's the zodiac for Taurus, which is a bull, not a cow. But for a second, just for a second, I thought it was a cow. My friend, once she saw that she could see her shadow on the camera, she immediately flipped the bird, which is hilarious. I feel like this would be easier. I did all the black ones. I was reading this one story. Something that does confuse people is why I read boys' love instead of girls' love, and it's because every time I've tried to read girls' love, it always feels rapey, and so I don't want to read it. I'd rather watch people fall in love, even if it's not the same gender that I'm attracted to, you know? Without it feeling like without feeling like someone's getting taken advantage of. There have been a few boys' love where I'm just like, I don't want to read this anymore, but I'm already too far into it to give up. But I don't enjoy the process. So it's not like there's no rapey ones in boys' love. There are some. Usually when it's like alpha omega stuff. but I don't necessarily enjoy those that much. Male pregnancy is still kind of a funny concept to me, though. You know, usually the background color is not this brown. These pieces are very brown. I remember once a teacher got offended when I called her teacher. I couldn't remember her name. I will state that was like the 4th class we had of that year. So the fact that I still did not know her name, but she knew my name, she felt so offended. But I also knew that I would never have to see her again, so I didn't bother. But I was also struggling with a lot of other things at the time. As much as I like to joke with my friends about, like, fat asses and stuff, it's all a joke. I don't really look at people as, like, a physical thing. I look at them as people. The reason I don't mind talking about how I'm feeling on YouTube and stuff is because at the end of the day, maybe it would help someone else who's going through similar issues handle it. I might not sound like I'm that upset, but I also I don't like showing too much of emotions, and most of my emotions I feel the brunt of on the inside rather than outward. I know I'm upset because it's harder for me to focus. I know I'm upset because I'm tired. I know I'm upset because the stat came back. Like, I know my friend didn't mean harm when they were like, well, you can go flirt with the girl at your work now, and I'm just like, I'm not even over my old relationship, but also I'm not attracted to every woman I meet. Just because she's gay doesn't mean I'm attracted to her. I mean, she's not ugly, but like, that's not what makes me attracted to a person. I don't even really know her. We hardly talk. We get along, but it doesn't feel the same. But it has been only 3 days. You don't get over a relationship you actually wanted in 3 days. One of my friends said, well, I mean, she was too immature for you, which is insulting. Like, I get where she's coming from. I mean, she was 18 and still didn't have a license, driver's license. she was 18 and wasn't fighting for freedom, like her own space and stuff. Usually when you want to grow up, you want to leave everyone behind. My sister, she also had to deal with taking care of her brother. I'm not gonna call her sister-in-law anymore, by the way, because she does not like my brother. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure they broke up. And my brother was like, well, I'll just move back in with Dad. Where? I'll just move in with Grandma. And I'm like, you can do that. Something that would freak me out is if you found out a person's child was allergic to something for the first time. Like the parent didn't even know they were allergic to that item, and the kid didn't know they were allergic to that item. It was a new allergy. That sounds horrifying. Are there any like horror stories out there from like people who were babysitters and all? Anyway, I'm gonna end the video here. Peace, love. Have a good day, my fab fans, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.